I remember when I finally met up with this girl at recess, out of nowhere, she ends up walking up to me saying, Baba, I've been waiting for this moment for like a long time. Wait, what do you mean? And one thing leads to another. She ends up basically taking off everything. And me and her, we ended up doing the Devil's Tango. And we had to do it in less than 10 minutes. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So today's story all starts off back when I was in high school, and this was my grade 10 year. Now, in grade 10, I was a massive player. As you guys may know on the channel, I've told many stories about me doing it basically everywhere and anywhere. But this one day specifically was one of the most weirdest days ever, because I remember one time during school in my grade 10 year, I was just hanging out in the morning. Just me and my friends were all sitting together and just talking. And one of my friends were looking at me, asking me the question that they're all pretty curious about for some reason. And that was, yo, Bubba, bro, have you ever done it in school? What? What do you mean? Like, done the Devil's Tango at school, bro? At that moment, I ended up looking at him and basically telling him to quiet down, because I didn't want other people in the cafeteria to hear what in the world he was saying. But I ended up basically quietly whispering to him, yeah, bro, of course I have, many times. And he looks at me and starts laughing. He starts laughing and saying, what? Bro, how would you do it in school? There's no way. And I ended up telling him like one of the stories that are funny enough on this channel as well. And as I was telling him the story, there was a girl that ended up walking up to us, and she looks at both of us saying, wait, Bubba, are you serious? Have you actually like done that? Is he telling the truth? At that moment, all my friends ended up looking, and they're like, yeah, there's a chance he probably did, honestly, knowing him. And things at the table got super awkward, to the point where the girl ends up looking at both of us and says, Bubba, I don't believe you. There's no way that story is real. Like, absolutely no way. It makes no sense. At that moment, I ended up just putting my hands up and saying, I mean, one day I'll prove it to you, but what can I say? I'm just that bold, I guess. I don't really know. And me and my friends, we all stood up and started walking away. As we started walking away, though, I ended up getting a notification on my phone. And the notification was from the girl trying to follow me on IG, which, by the way, all of you guys should do, since I'm known as the hottest guy on earth. Going on, though, I remember when I saw this, my friends all ended up walking behind me, looking into my phone saying, bro, there's no way, bro. She actually followed you after that? I think she wants it, Bubba. Nah, there's no way, is what I said. And well, one thing led to another. When I went to my first class, I ended up just sitting down with all my friends, and we were all just basically doing the basic schoolwork that we get day to day from our teacher. But in the middle of doing my homework, out of nowhere, and I mean out of nowhere, I ended up getting a DM on my phone. She ends up DMing me, and she ends up asking me, Bubba, I have a question. Be honest with me. Is that story actually real? What, of me doing it at school? Yeah, is what I ended up texting her back. And what this girl replies was so weird, because she ends up asking me for proof. Now, I know many people ask for proof on my stories, and it's not like I just have live footage of my life just at that moment of me doing all these crazy things. So I ended up telling her, well, there's no really way for me to prove it, if I'm being honest with you. Okay, well, I want you to show me then. Like, show me where you would do it. You want me to show you where I would do it? Yeah, like, just show me at recess. Now, I'm gonna say something real quick. In high school, we didn't actually call recess. We called it nut break. So the reason I'm saying recess is because I think it's a more common word throughout the world to have recess than nut break. But I don't know. What do you guys call your recesses? I know some people call it different things, so I'm just curious. Comment down below. But going on with the story, I remember I ended up telling her how I wouldn't want to show her where the spot was. Because if I'm being honest, in my grade 10 year, I've used the same spot in my high school many, many times. So me telling her my spot, I'm worried that she might one day use it the same time I want to use it. So I ended up just texting her saying, I mean, I could prove it to you, but like, I don't want you using my spot, if I'm being honest. What? Bubba, that's so gross. It's school. It doesn't matter. Well, I mean, it's a pretty good spot, is what I told her. And she finally ended up folding and saying, okay, fine, just like show me it. And I promise I won't use it ever. You promise? Yeah, I promise. I won't even step foot in your spot if I ever end up using it. I promise you. Okay, so if you use it, you're never gonna use it again, right? Like, you'll be banned from the spot. Yeah, okay, whatever. You're making this sound like a child's game. Like, just hurry up. I remember at that moment, the bell finally rang for recess. And me, I ended up walking towards the classroom that this girl was at. When I got there, she looks at me and saying, okay, so where is it? Is it here? What? In front of your classroom? No, are you dumb? Okay, well, where is it? Show me, Bubba. So me and this girl, we end up basically going to the spot, as I would call it. But basically, the spot was just a place under the staircase that no student went to. It was like a secret staircase that the school had that was like a fire exit. But me, I would only use it since the alarm didn't work for the door as the spot. So me, I ended up taking her to the cafeteria upstairs and basically went to the fire exit that took us to the staircase. When I took her in there, I remember she was shocked that the alarm didn't work for that door. And she looks at me saying, wait, so you just do it in here? Yeah. Why? Well, I mean, like, it's insane. Like, I never thought like this place would work. work. Like, what? I don't think anyone goes in here. Well, yeah, that's kind of the point. If I'm in the middle of doing the Devil's Tango, I don't want people walking in on me. At that moment, she starts smiling at me really weird, and she starts getting really close to me. And she says, well, am I allowed to use the spot if I'm using it with you? At that moment, I didn't say anything, but me and her, we went straight to doing the Devil's Tango. And I'm not gonna lie, it was insane because we ended up doing it basically on recess, and recess only lasts like 10 minutes. So I had to basically finish and do the Devil's Creed in less than 10 minutes. I'm gonna say this right now, that's usually impossible. But I remember like when the bell rang, me and her were still in the middle of doing the Devil's Tango. But me, I had a science lab I had to hand in, so I ended up basically kind of pushing her off me, and I said, okay, I gotta get to class. Honestly, like, we can meet up at lunch if you want. Oh, no, I can't meet up at lunch. I have a meeting with my leadership crew. Do you want to like maybe like, I don't know, just come back tomorrow at recess? What? You want to do this again tomorrow? Yeah, I mean, like, why not? Sure, I guess if you want. And me and the girl, we ended up basically leaving from the main fire exit that actually took us outside so no one would see us. But the next day is where things got really insane, because I remember the next day ended up finally coming around, and I ended up meeting up with my friends in the morning once again in the cafeteria. We were sitting down once again talking, having basic guy conversation, I'm not gonna lie. And one of my friends that basically asked the same question yesterday said the same thing again, where he says to me, Bubba, be honest, bro, like, I'm just curious, where in the school would you even do it? I don't know, there's spots, I guess, is what I told him. And my other friend that was sitting with us ends up as well saying, Bubba, bro, there's no way that story's real, man. Like, everyone's talking about it, and like, I'm be honest, it's totally fake. Right as he says it was totally fake, I remember the girl that I did yesterday at recess walks up to my table group that I was sitting with and says to all of us, well, I don't know, I think it's real. What? Literally yesterday you were saying it was fake. Oh no, I think it's real now. And she ends up walking away. At that moment, all the guys look at me and they were confused because one day she was basically saying how it's not true, and the next day she's saying it is. At that point, they got suspicious, and they had every right to. I mean, it was very out of the blue. But I remember the bell rang for our first class, and when I went to class, I remember I ended up getting messages on my phone about how this girl was excited to basically meet up with me at recess, and I just kind of made it so I didn't really care or seemed cool about it, even though I was also pretty excited. Even to the point where I actually ended up getting bricked in class, but I mean, who hasn't done that? Going on from there, I remember the bell finally rang, and I ended up basically going straight to the spot because I didn't want to pick her up from her classroom since she already knew where the spot was. I mean, when I finally got there, I saw she was already there, not wearing anything, ready for me to do the Devil's Tango. So I remember me and her, we started doing it in the spot that we had, and well, one thing led to another out of nowhere. And I mean, seriously, out of nowhere, my buddy that was asking me about the spot earlier ends up walking through the door, and he sees me and her doing it, and he says, yo, wait, what? You're doing it right now? Seriously, at recess? I remember me and her, we got like super shocked, and we ended up putting our clothes on as fast as we could. And I even got to the point where I ended up pushing him out of the room with my eggplant hanging out. It was super awkward and super weird. And I remember after me and her got fully dressed and ready, me and her, we ended up coming out of the fire exit that led to the school. And my buddy was just standing there just in shock that the story was real. And my buddy looks at me saying, wait, so you guys were just in there doing it? Like, seriously, at school? I mean, yeah, I told you that was the spot, or at least one of my spots. At that moment, they both looked at me and were like, wait, what? There's more? It was super funny, and I didn't really know what to say to them. But honestly, I already had a pretty awkward experience there. So I ended up just walking away and continued my school day. And ever since then, my friends always knew that my stories were real, just like this one. So if you guys enjoyed these stories, follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.